I'm really gonna try to focus on the cards every day like I used to so that we can finally finish them. We got stressed less, a little long. Notice which of the people in your life boost you and which ones drain you. Allocate your time accordingly. This is very important. As someone who observes a lot, people are definitely among those things I observe a lot. And I can say that observing this on others helped me define this for myself. It's sad that sometimes, when it comes to the quality of people, their status in your life may represent a problem. For instance, if it's family, sometimes you just have to let them go and accept that these people are no longer right for you. They're no longer good for you. And these words that I just used, the you have to pretty much end it with them because they are no longer good for you, is something that I directly received myself from someone who means a lot to me, someone who has been a very influential figure in my life and to whom I owe a lot of my emotional development to in recent years. And it's because I am one of those people who, once I have something established with someone, I don't like to let it go because I do believe that in the same manner we experienced the rupture, we can experience the repair. We need to figure out what it is that led to the rupture. And if this is a rupture reason that is irreconcilable, that it's not fixable, that's not a mistake, then I have to step out of my own personal denial and just accept that things are the way that they are, and period. And I guess my most predominant experience with that is my former best friend. I thought that she was gonna be one of my friends for the rest of my life. That one friend that you have from school, and somehow your friendship survives through times and everything. But I had to accept that, whether it is because she didn't have the mental capacity or tolerance for someone like me, or whether it was because she was influenced into changing and thus develop an intolerance toward me, whatever her reasons were, really, whatever inspired it, whatever motivated it, it's strange that I was able to accept her walking away. And I think it's because I was already used to not having genuine friendships lost. But if it's a more familial relationship, the only one I have been able to exist with is my issues with my dad. But it's weird because with my dad, I am upset and angry that he's around, but he doesn't put the effort for us to have a good relationship via his neglect and failure to show up, all those little things that I have shared with you guys before. But somehow I'm still willing to be like, I could open the door to him if he ever allowed it. With my former friend, though, I could do it, but that is assuming that she passes my tests. Like, okay, you prove to me that for some reason you cannot take someone who's like me, someone honest and who doesn't get easily influenced, and I'm not biased, I'm not subjective. My objectivity is what killed you. Oh well. But because of that history that we already have, I would expect more from her, especially now that we have gotten older. I would expect that she can handle some things. But if she hasn't come back or reached back out, it tells me that maybe she processed our situation and she became like me, firm with her decision. Or maybe she hasn't really taken the time to process our fallout because she has been too preoccupied in her career, in her studies, whatever the fuck she's doing, her marriage. And when you get busy like that, when your agenda is that packed, you don't tend to really have a lot of good quality processing time. And if she didn't do this processing at the time it was due, now, unless something catastrophic happens to her, she is not going to have the time to do that. And that's the way I evaluate my father too. If when shit was going on for him in his life, he didn't make the time for it or didn't have the time for it, now, less than ever, is he going to. Because now, at his age, he's not trying to occupy himself with difficult things. That man is trying to chill out and calm down and be peaceful because he's retired now. See what I mean? When you have people like that in your life, define which ones are the active roles that actually mean something to you, and let that person know that they're active in your life and that they mean something to you. Because for me personally, when I had those two experiences, one that has been lifelong and one that has been, you were a friend, you became my best friend of them all, but you failed pretty much, then okay, what is life now going to bring me? And like I have said before, I really don't have friends like that, or at least not that many. But I know whom to go to for what matter. And that, I guess, is how I play the allocate your time wisely. There is no way that I would go up to someone who is not even someone that's significant in my life and try to have a deep discussion with them when they have not demonstrated or given me any indication that they would be right for this kind of dialogue. And sometimes I have had people who are just passerbys in my life who inspire me with something I'm already dealing with. And even if I don't establish a connection with them that's long lasting, sometimes I feel like they were that coincidental encounter that you needed to receive the inspiration from and make shit work, because I also have religious beliefs and sometimes I think that is divine intervention. And as I have described before, I tune into stuff like that like it's a radio channel. And sometimes I may not be aware that this is a divine intervention until I take the time to process it in my own independent time. And that's why my me time, quiet time is so sacred to me, because it's the time that I take to kind of replay my day and be like, oh, this happened. It could be the result of this, or it could signify this other thing. Now, when it's family, it's kind of hard to break up from them, because family is supposed to be something that is united and something that you can rely on and count on for the rest of your days. That should be your safety net. That should be the den that you can return to for shelter when everything else goes wrong. But it's becoming more and more of a common thing that most of us don't have that. And even if we have it pending, by the time you resolve a certain matters, the other person's life is going to continue to get complicated just like yours is. At what point are you going to be able to clean that up? So I think any issues that you have with people, it's best to address them as soon as possible. But also be objective with yourself. This is the part where I fell victim to the trap of blaming myself, especially since I didn't have a guide for this. I thought that a lot of things were my fault. When you're a child, nothing is ever your fault. So don't fall for the trap of thinking that things are bad because it's your doing. When you're an adult, effort should be coming from both directions. I admit that because as a kid, I never received the demonstration that I mattered to these people. I inherently believed that because the communication depends exclusively on my effort, that they love me conditionally. It's if I look for them, they're there. But it's not like they're also looking for me so that I don't need anything. It's they could be there if I need something, but they're not there, so I don't need anything. See the difference? So just remember that at this stage in our lives, it is a two-way street. You put in the effort, hopefully they reciprocate it, or they're putting in the effort and you're reciprocating it. But if neither of those things are happening, don't blame yourself. I used to blame myself. It also helps when you have a history of having tried to go back to these people, and the way that they behave or how they treat you is not compatible with you and your personality, it is okay to turn around and not go back. Maybe until times are better. And sometimes I feel like, unfortunately, times are always best when one of you is about to be done. Like, say, you're about to check out from life. Let's say that this is an older person you're having trouble with. When that person is on their deathbed, something happens. I don't know what it is. It's like a moment of clarity where they realize that a lot of those things that they did against you, or the grudges they held, ultimately didn't matter. And you don't discover that until it's too late. And you wish that the quality time that you're having in those final moments would have been it the whole time, but it just couldn't happen. That is the way I live my life. I live my life avoiding feeling that way should the moment come. I know that I have done my part. I have tried my best. I have visited. None of them ever tried visiting me. I, at some point, was doing the calling. Nobody ever continued with the calls. So why the fuck continue to invest time and energy and effort into people who simply do not have it within themselves, as life keeps getting ever more complex, as well as mine, to maintain that? If they're not, that unsaid says a lot. See what I mean? So now the way I see it is, anybody who legit is putting in the effort, and I can see it, and sometimes I can admit that I'm the one who goes through things and then I fall behind at getting back to people, but it doesn't mean that I stop thinking about them. Those people who are legit there, day in, day out, sunshine, rainfall, those are the ones I'm allocating my time with. If other people who are supposed to have that privilege get jealous about it, I'll simply be like, okay, where you at? You cannot expect for me to be the one looking for you. You to try to look for me. I just don't understand what it is about people when they're independent, like in your own alone time. What goes on with you to where you know that you have people, you know that you have friends or family who would love to hear from you, but for some reason you don't reach out, but you wish that they did. And at that point, I'm like, I can't wish that my family did that if I stopped the effort too. But the reason I stopped is because, again, they demonstrated that they ain't trying to have that kind of communication with me because I'm always the one looking for them. So I just accepted my position as unimportant and I just moved along. So now, in my present, I'm the same way. Anyone who's interested in staying in touch with me outside of wherever we meet, say at work, or if we go way back to our school time, I don't have contact with anybody from school, just so you know, or something like that, then I ain't gonna do that to you. Because guaranteed, I'm usually the one reaching out. I'm always the one reaching out. And y'all don't remember basic things either. Birthdays, there's people I haven't seen in 10 years and I still wish them happy birthday. And fortunately, they still reply. We have that communication maybe once a year, but it's nice that at least they check in as alive in the same manner that I check in as alive. Do they check in with me as alive ever outside of the calendar signifying this important day for them? No. But do I hold it against them? No. I do my part. It makes me feel good knowing that I made someone else feel good, that I remember them. But it's not like that is important to me. If I skip it next year, they ain't gonna notice and they're probably not going to care. So that's why when it comes to time allocation, I'm very savage about it, very aggressive with it. And it's true. Which ones boost you? To me, it's all about, I, as a person who naturally has self esteem issues, if I come out of our conversations smiling or still giggling or laughing about a joke that you said even hours after you said it, we good. We tight. There is no danger. But if I'm like in my own shell and I feel a weight in my chest and my gut and I'm even second guessing whether I should tell you something, because maybe it'll upset you or offend you, or you'll take it the wrong way, or you'll take it personal, whatever the fuck, then that's how I know that I just give you your space and don't engage with you. I'll let you do the engaging. And if the engaging matches with me, fine, I'll say something. But if it doesn't, then I don't say anything. You just exist in the same manner that I try to just exist. But we're not necessarily cutting each other off because we're not that bad yet with each other, with our status. But yeah, you guys, this is something that is very powerful, but it's also pretty sensitive. It's something that you have to spend time with yourself, defining exactly what your values are socially, and defend them aggressively or go against them aggressively. And I think that I'm chill with this matter the way I am because I accepted that I will have the tendency of being mostly left alone because I really don't try to go out of my way to have superficially ongoing conversations. Say daily, I gotta text this person or call them or check in with this person and talk about nothing. I like for our relationship to get to a point where you can go days, weeks, maybe even months without hearing from me, and shit is still as cool as last time we hung out, and where we left it off, we're able to pick back up. That is what I strive for. That to me tells me a lot. But if feelings begin to change and you start becoming a little salty about it, going like, well, you didn't call me, or you didn't text me, or you forgot about bit of it, fuck you. I don't have time for that little kid's way of being. Well, there you guys have it. That's it from me. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts and feelings on this one because, again, I think that this one is one of the most important projects I have ever embarked on with myself. Defining my social standing with people and being objective and realistic about it. It was very important for me. All right, that's it. Bye.